Hello, I'm Christopher Much, and I'm the inventor of Speaking Access. And I was sitting here at 9:30 at night, slunched over the keyboard trying to figure out what to type out as a message, and I finally went, you know what, I'm going to record it. That's what I'm going to do, because it's easy, and I like it. So that's what I'm doing. So, it's a serious topic. I was doing some research, and as a small business, I can relate to this. I'm not in the States, but let's get at it. There's a link in the Supreme Court rejects Domino's on blind man's website lawsuit. Now, being involved in accessibility software for the last 3 years, this has been on the radar. Because west of web accessibility, there's also a link that will be provided in the post as well that is the standard. It's called the WCAG compliance standard. I know it sounds boring, doesn't it? But it can cost you money if you're a small business in the United States and you don't pay attention to this. Oh, yeah, I better get this in. I'm not a lawyer, and don't think that I am. So anybody that thinks that they can say that I was giving legal advice, poo-poo on you. I've walked into a courthouse once, and I won't tell you if I was a client or not either. So, on that note, if we go back to the Supreme Court document, we read through it and we go through and we, under the standard, it basically says that all companies that have a website in the States that are based in the States, they have to follow the standard in that using a screen reader or whatever accessibility technology, that your website has to be able to be navigated by a blind person, dyslexic person, whoever uses a screen reader, right? And so what they decided to, the government, and they were well-intentioned, I'll give them that. They brought in a law that you're legally culpable. So if your website doesn't comply to the standard, then someone like the gentleman in this article, he can sue Domino's Pizza because he can't navigate the website because they don't properly format it. And so what I'm trying to get at is I'm not knocking this. Was very well intentioned by the government, but they're not experts in the field. And let me look at my notes. I'm losing my track. See, it's 9:30 at night. So I'm going to pretend that I'm doing something important while I'm actually looking at my notes, okay? So don't tell anybody. Where is it? So I had to put that notepad is where I put it. Lost it all. Huh. I'm using my program to write it up, and I shut it down without saving it. Okay, so I'll just actually have to reference my memory. That's the one thing about computers is you forget stuff. So, what the reality is, and this is serious so for small business, because this can cost you money, and if you're a small business, money can make or break you. So what happens is if you are totally ignorant of this issue, what's happening is that lawyers are, this guy took Domino's to court. They have the resources for that. That's all fine and dandy. But what if you're a lawyer? No, what if you're a plumber who's got a website in Michigan, right? And he hires his cousin Joe to do the website, even though the cousin Joe has absolutely no clue. I mean, if Domino's isn't going to have if Domino's Pizza isn't going to be accessible, then why is the small business person going to do it? So, and it's not like web authors are sitting there rubbing their hands together going, ooh, we're going to get those people. It's not that at all. I'm not a web author anymore, but a number of years ago, I was like the cousin Joe. I made money doing web authors for a while, and I had absolutely no idea. Just to educate you before I continue on, because I do have an answer in the end. I actually have some answers for you. Not legal, though, because I'm not a lawyer, remember? So if you ever play this in court, I will tell the judge, I'm not a lawyer. So there you go. So to educate you, what's happened is that standard, instead of having when a browser, the way I thought it worked is that the web author, you'd make your web page, and whatever technology was for accessible, they'd take care of all that, right? They would come into the website, and they'd figure out the links and do whatever that stuff did. Well, not at all. the whole accessibility. Like if you have a form on your website, we've actually fallen, like this is all from education in our through. I hope you don't mind me scattered, but this is really a good topic, and it's very important, and it's difficult, and I know that it might be a little bit over the place, but it's good information and it's educated information. I'm covering a lot of information. I have a startup, a lot of stuff going through my head. So deep breath. My mother always says take a deep breath. So Mom, here's Chia. I'm taking a deep breath. Do you want to join me? They left the responsibility to the people making the website. So like I said, if you have a form and you and I can see if you are sighted or you don't have issues seeing the screen, you can see the label that's next to the form. Well, if the web author is not aware, he will not label it. The screen reader basically goes to a form that says name. If the web author is not aware that this is a problem, when a screen reader goes to that field, it's blank. So in other words, the screen reader is blind to the information in that form. Not to use a bad metaphor, but it's literally what's happening. So if you are like me and you found that out, so I would go to a forum that are like a lot of these open source forums, and you go, oh cool, I'll do that. And then as soon as you test the screen reader, this open source thing that's being offered to web authors to put on their website doesn't work with the screen reader. So even a lot of the people who are making the open source stuff are ignorant to the fact that it doesn't work that way. So what does this mean for your problem? It means that you shouldn't be going to get your cousin Joe to get your website. I'm not saying you should, I'm not saying you need to spend thousands of dollars, but there's a legal, yeah, this could cost you money now if you're not careful. So you need to, all you have to do is when you're talking to someone that's going to do your website, you make sure that you read just a tiny bit of that web author thing. Okay, so you read the compliance thing just enough and that legal Supreme Court thing so that when you're talking to your web author, that they know what they're talking about. And if they don't know what just let me find it again. What the WCAG compliance thing is under the 74 to 73 Accessibility Act, then you should move on, okay? Because people are being taken to court for a lot of money. I know that we don't like these extra costs, but the reality is that's what the court's done it for. And that's what they've done it for. It's here, and it's going to happen. So those are the things I can offer, and thank you for listening to my little rant. Thank you.